I know we've all heard about self care. It's almost like a broken record, but do you know that self care, there's an art to it? There's a whole way that you have to do it so that it really makes sense for you. I have a special guest today, and this is her area of expertise. And she's going to school us on just how to be your best self, how to be in tune with yourself, and how to up your self care game. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Secret Formula of Femininity for women who want to live a more feminine, fun, and fabulous life. I'm Dr. Nicole Monteiro, your host on this weekly journey to unlocking your inner radiance, nurturing fulfilling relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself. All right, everybody. I told you I have a special guest. I am so excited. I'm going to tell you about Sumaya Hill. She is an entrepreneur. She's a wife. And I have to mention that because that's a big part of how you show up in the world. She helps women and men to really be their best selves and to dig into their self care. And we're going to get more into her background and her bio. But I'll just welcome, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on the Secret Formula of Femininity. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I just want to dig in and start with what made you so passionate? We hear self care so much that I've heard women just kind of dismiss it and ignore it because either they've tuned it out or they just think it's so simple. So, what is it about self care that just hooked you in and made it a passion for you?
Well, first of all, I had my children back to back, right? So when you have kids back to back and you're married or your relationship and you
Mhm.
have kids, you're constantly moving. It's all about the kids. It's all about them, right? And I found that my body was always tired because I'm running here, running there. My feet looked a hot mess. You get in the bed with your partner, like,
It's
what's
like
going on?
sandpaper.
So I'm just like, okay, all right, I need to take care of me. So as my kids got older, that's when I started. I started to say, okay, I need to buy, a sugar scrubber or a body scrub to help exfoliate some of that stuff off of me at the end of the
Mhm.
day or the end of the week for running back and forth. So I started there, right? I started when my kids they were teenagers. It took me a minute, but they were
Uh-huh.
teenagers. They were age where I wasn't doing as much running, right? And then, it expanded. I took a break, but then I started to say, we go get our nails done, right?
Mhm.
And I was doing that. And you go get your feet done. Okay, right. But I noticed that when you do that, it's like to me an assembly line. You go in a nail shop, it's like, you want this, you want, they
Yes.
it's like boom, 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 boom. So I was like, did I really enjoy that? I got my feet done and it feels good, but I enjoyed that. Right. So I was like, how can I do this for myself, not feeling rushed?
Mhm.
So I just started creating products that I like, that I felt would be good for me, but not just for me, but to nurture my body. Right. All natural stuff, things of that nature.
Mm, mhm.
So I just started doing that. My kids, I noticed my son, he has eczema, really bad. And I'm like, it's got to be something that I can do. And I really started my business and self care for myself really with a body butter, right?
Yeah.
Um, like go get the shea butter, get some shea butter, get some cocoa butter, put it on it. Oh, and I did that, but then I just expanded a little bit and I just started to take care of myself, put this things on my feet, to make my feet soft to just and be still. I think that's the main thing is just to be
Yes.
still, right? We all get the Epsom sauce, right? But we know the Epsom sauce work in the tub or whatever. Well, I took it beyond that. I got the Epsom sauce. I put it in a bucket enough for my
Mhm.
feet, and while I'm sitting there, um, doing something for my daughter or whatever, helping with homework, my feet was in.
That is genius.
Right, you're sitting there and you may be there for 15, 20 minutes. You wanna make sure that your child gets it and not leave. You could be doing something else. You could be on a computer over here doing something or whatever, and then you're still helping your daughter. while you're doing that, instead of waiting at the end of the night, because by the nighttime, you're tired, you don't think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I started throwing Epsom sauce in there. I started adding herbs or whatever. Tell me
Uh-huh.
something. It just felt good. I started right there. The small things. I think that's what it is.
I cannot wait to try it. It's funny because I was just talking to a friend about their child having some kind of, skin irritation.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
even my own daughter, in the summer, they might get heat rashes and all of that. But like just the natural products being so helpful. So tell me about the ages of your kids. Like you said, they were stair steps. And that, like, I think you could look back now probably, but like, what was that like?
Um, okay, so my kids are a year and 28 days apart. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. So people would say, "What? You got one in Pampers and you gonna get another one?" But honestly, I can say I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Mhm.
I'm done. I mean, I wanted more. It didn't happen. It is
Uh-huh.
what it is, but they were close, right? And me having them close together, it was a challenge because you have one wants to play soccer, one wants to play basketball, one wants to
Mm.
play volleyball, whatever. But it was a challenge. But my
Yeah.
kids, so right now, of course, they grown and got their own kids. But it was a challenge. It was a
Yeah,
challenge, but
yeah.
I did learn, as I stated before, whenever they did not have an activity. And I was meal prepping a long time ago. I heard long time people meal prep. And I did it. When you're a young
You
mother
like uh-huh.
with 2 kids, you do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Casserole is done, chicken, whatever is done, right? So, but it was a challenge, but, my kids, again, a year and 28 days apart, but I wouldn't change it.
Are they close?
They used to be close, but you know how people, they have their own path,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they used to be close. They can be closer. It's just that they have to do it. But guess what? I did my job.
Yes,
That's all.
mama has yeah,
I did my job. I'm like, but yeah, they used to be
yeah.
really close. My daughter used to translate what my son was saying because I didn't understand nothing.
Wow,
I
but they had that, like, she totally knew what he was saying.
only knew what he was saying,
Yes.
what he wanted his binky, whatever he wanted, she helped translate, it was just great for me because 'cause I'm like, "What does he want?" Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm doing it all over again. I got my grandbabies and, they're close. They're my grandbabies, they're
But, it's so interesting because you said something like, when you were doing meal prep and all that organization, it just came natural. Moms just you get into that zone. But why is it so hard when it's time for us to do something for ourselves? It's like we're clueless. It's like we forget all of the organization skills and we're like, "I don't have time." Why do you think we do that? It's so easy to do for someone else and not ourselves.
as women, we tend to be nurturers,
Mhm.
right? It's just so natural for us. We tend to be nurturers, and we want to always help and nurture everyone. That's just in us. So I think what it is we get lost, and it also depends on our upbringing. I know my grandmother. I got to tell you this. My grandmother took care of my father, and this is going to marriage. My
Mhm.
grandfather to the utmost. My grandfather never came out of his room to come and get his plate or whatever. Never. My grandmother, she brought it to him, so I
Mhm.
saw that, right? I saw how she took care of, my mom and, whatever, even at the it was as they were older. So I saw that. So we're nurturers. So we tend to keep that in us and forget about what we need,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
we just forget. We just like, if I can sit for 10 minutes, I'm happy."
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if you saw my post a couple of days ago. I said 15 to 30 minutes doing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
It felt so good. I was in this room and I set my timer and I put my feet up on the desk and I'm not gonna do anything. I said, don't go to social media, don't look at your phone to see if it's 15 minutes.
Mhm.
And it was good. But I think because we're nurturers and that's how we forget.
Yeah.
And it's all just also depends on the upbringing. But we forget, but we have to learn how to get there. And I'm speaking of beyond getting your nails done and your feet.
Yes.
That's what I'm speaking.
It seems like once you get your nails and your feet done, women expect this level of rejuvenation that those things just can't accomplish, nails and, pedicures and manicures.
Right, right. Or even getting
Yeah.
your hair done. You can get your
Mhm.
hair done good. You just like, oh, whatever. Um, but how about taking a step further? My friends and I, what we do, and I encourage her sometimes to go have lunch by yourself
Mhm, mhm.
and just be with yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That is
It's
that alone time because you said something funny, like, whenever I go to get a service, like
Mhm.
nails, hair, massage, not so much because that's very, very quiet, but the people end up talking to me, and I'm like, "Wait, I don't feel like talking, like, I
Oh,
just
wait, do that.
relax." So lunch by yourself, at least unless somebody seeks you out, but sometimes even when we go to these other things, it's very social, the
Mhm.
hairstylist, the nail, and then you're once again giving out to somebody else because 'cause they're attracted to your nurturance. I feel like they can feel that energy.
Mhm. That's true. I was waiting for you to say that. That's why I was saying when I do go get my feet done or your nails done or whatever, there's conversation. Or it is
Yes.
not even a conversation, but you and your nail tech. It can be the ones around you. So you get caught up in it. So are you really relaxing?
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
You get your feet done. You're watching that individual do your feet. And it's just like, "No, no, cut this down and don't do that and rub this." And then it's just like you're sitting and they put you in a you're massaging, but you're busy looking, you're looking to see what's going.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking down that hole.
So are you really relaxing,
Yeah.
We just have to learn to just, I like to say this, my grandmother used to say this to me, "Be still."
Mm.
Think you ever heard that before?
Be still. Sit your
We
butt
don't
down and be still.
just be still.
Mhm.
Just be still and take in you. I think that's important. Just take in you, you know?
But we're uncomfortable with that, right? A lot of us.
Some of us can be. Yeah, we
Mhm,
were
mhm.
uncomfortable with it, but that goes into when you're uncomfortable being with yourself, it depends on what you're going through, right?
Mhm,
And then I
mhm.
guess at that point, you may have to, and I don't know, don't make it right, wrong, or different. You may have to seek something else out or someone else out to get that off of you. So when
Yeah.
you are being still, you're being still.
You're
When
not
you're on that,
overrun with all the things going on in your head. Mhm.
like, absolutely, because
Now,
we have a lot going on.
your grandmom sounds like a wise woman. She has some great practices and sayings, but let's take it back to marriage. You are a wife. I'm a wife. You've been married for a long time, right? I forgot, but it's been a while.
Sev-
You're not new to this.
17 years.
Wow, right? Okay, ladies. So we're about to get into some wife wisdom right now. And you mentioned something your grandmom did that for some reason is probably controversial today,
Yeah.
right? Tell us what she did with your grandfather. He never had to come out.
He didn't. Well, it's 8 of them. It was 8 of
Mhm.
them, right? So, with him being the caregiver and, the provider, I guess he felt like this man has did a lot, right? So, when it's
Yes.
time for dinner for him, he doesn't have to move. She would take his tray up to him, and this is old school. I need to give you controversial today. She would take his tray up to him, even to the point when I would visit, I would take his tray up to him. We would
Uh-huh.
take off that tray. We'd eat a little something because he ain't good. But, we would take that trip to him, and all of her grandchildren, myself and my others, we didn't think anything of it. This okay, we knew that he worked for it at this plant for hours and hours and hours. This
Mm.
is reward. He wants to sit down, become in his space, and eat his dinner quietly.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
say this, my grandmother did go up afterwards, after his tray was taken up. She would go up after it and eat with him. They had a little TV tray, little
Uh-huh.
t we would have
They had
conversation.
their husband, wife, like, alone
Mhm.
time.
Absolutely. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, for me, when I do,
Mhm.
again, everybody's different. When I'm preparing dinner and everything, my husband does eat first. I mean,
Mhm.
he can go. And why? Um When you're living in a household where there's 2 incomes and everybody's busy, it's just sometimes it just happens. So I'll
Yeah.
just go ahead and just go ahead, you go do what you gotta do because I know you gotta do XYZ afterwards, right? what I know he has something to do. So then
Mhm.
afterwards, then I eat. Or sometimes we do eat together, but I do make sure that I give him his plate first.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I can say this and a lot of people don't know, but if he was not blind, like he wasn't
Mm.
always blind, right? But when he wasn't blind, sometimes he'd be like, "I'll do it," or this, but he can't. But that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay because Imma just say this for women who are not married. When I hand him his plate or his meal, 17 years later, you know what I do? I rub his back
Ooh.
just a
Yes.
couple times to let him know, "Hey, this is for
Uh-huh.
you. I know you have a lot stuff going on,"
Mhm.
and I back a couple of times, and then I walk away. But I still give him that affection to let him know that, "Hey, babe, I know, I know." And
Yeah.
he'll come back to me as well when I do have an opportunity to just sit down with him. He'll be like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, because he wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's, and then we just have that conversation. We just talk about us, like,
Just
okay,
being
every,
close. And I don't know if people caught those gems.
mm,
How that because it doesn't cost you anything as far as time, effort, or energy to show that appreciation, to rub his back, even to serve him his meal. Like you said, he's blind now, but even if, before that. And I think I hear so many women arguing about this because I don't know if I'm old school too. I serve my husband first. If we're all eating together as a family, but he might come home from work and wanna eat before the kids or whatever, I have his plate, like, his stuff is his stuff, right?
right,
And
right.
it's ready, it's like it's an intentionality of it being
Mhm.
first, but where did the controversy come in with fixing plates and why doesn't he get his own like, I don't get it.
Honestly, I'm seeing a shift, and I and
Mm,
I plan on kinda talking about this, in a couple of reels and whatever we're gonna do, a couple of videos. I'm seeing this shift, and I really wanna talk about this
mhm.
sometime later. We had the boss girl,
Yes.
soft girl. Well, Dr. Nicole, you and I, we ain't girls.
Thank you.
Girls,
Uh-huh.
if the definition of girls are young ladies
Yeah.
that are adolescents. None of us are that.
Yes.
So women who are married and, that is fighting as this boss girl, soft girl, whatever, what's wrong with giving something and knowing that you may be getting it back. But if you don't get it back, you gave it. You gave
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this boss girl. I'm a boss girl.
Yeah. Why are
Nobody's a
we
girl.
calling ourselves girls?
I don't know. I don't know.
And that makes sense because if I look at my kid, they're girls. Their at one is
Well,
just reaching adolescence. So
yeah.
she would have the attitude of like they're self-centered because that's their developmental stage. So if we're referring to ourselves, that's a good point, as girls, then we're not going to necessarily step up and act as women.
Yeah. If you're listening to what society is giving you, boss girl, soft girl, girl,
Mhm.
then you subconsciously, yeah, I'm that girl. I'm that. Oh, if you're 30, 35, 40, you're not a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you should be doing you should be that woman, that
Mhm.
queen, right?
Mm.
Thinking of yourself as that queen, that woman, someone that represents um someone who's regal.
Not some and with so what I'm hearing is being regal, it comes with some responsibilities too. Like you have to be in that role. Because what I hear is like a lot of people are just into this, the man has to do everything, I'm the prize and all this stuff. But if you're saying he's going out to provide and whatever that looks like,
Mhm.
why are you not expecting to have some roles and responsibilities as far as attending to your spouse in the marriage?
Right, right. Let's just soften up a little bit.
Mhm.
And your podcast and everything is about femininity, right? Being feminine.
Yes.
Soften up a little. Be soft. God created us to be that, to be a
Mm.
cover for your mate. That cover has to be a soft cover.
Mhm.
You don't want a wool cover.
Prickly and, like, it's that you don't want on the skin.
So when he comes in, make him feel good because and be ready to get that back, and don't be shocked when you do get it back. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You
Mhm.
can giving it, you get it. You just have to, you just have to be open to giving that softness. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. And
Yeah.
then and then that goes back to tuning into your own self and softening up your own self, being feminine and taking care of yourself. Where he'll be like, but you um, but I like that. Like,
Yes, I haven't smelled that one. Or your feet are extra soft, like, when you rub it against my leg, I don't feel any, you know and isn't that funny? Like, men usually they won't like, when you have the calluses or the rough feet, they usually aren't gonna say anything,
yeah, yeah.
unless it just gets too like, "All right, babe." But once it's softened up, they will say something, right? Like, "Oh."
Yeah, they will.
Mhm.
But and then they will say something, but then why don't you soften up enough to do it? Why don't you, go ahead and, rub your feet up and whatever, and just look at him like, oh, ooh."
Yes. So it sounds like this self-care like, how did your marriage change the more you got to the deeper levels of self-care? Did you
Well,
notice a
when
difference?
yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you the truth. My feet wasn't always that great. So just keep it real 100 because that's how I am. I think people once they get to know me, I'm used to it. He was like, wait, what's going on? And I was like, oh, okay. Noted. So I
Mhm.
started softening my feet, but not just for me, for him to feel it. I started taking care of him too. Like, okay, let's go get your
Mm.
right.
Yes.
But this how it switched to the marriage because I wanted to be able to for him to touch me or whatever way to give me that affection and feel like, okay, she's soft. She's covering me. She's a soft cover for me.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted. So that's how it flipped. Again, like I said, I wasn't always soft, you know.
Like,
Um,
kinda you're saying even figuratively, like, okay, were you always soft in your communication, or was that something that you
no,
also
no, I
worked
have to
on?
tell I used to be very hard.
Mhm.
I used to talk with my hands to the point my husband
Like
said, why are you talking like that? I be like, "Yo, and look, well, yeah." He's like, "Stop." And I'm like, "Oh God, I am. I'm just," but it was how I was brought up,
Mhm.
right? I wasn't always Muslim. Uh, so
Mhm.
I grew up in a rough neighborhood, right?
Mhm.
I was a tomboy.
Was it
So I was
East
like,
Coast or what
I
region? I'm curious. Like,
said it again.
where? I'm curious, were you on the East Coast or West Coast, North,
I
South?
was Northeast. I was in Ohio.
Okay,
And
okay. Mhm.
so I was just, and I grew up a tomboy. And even in dating and stuff, I would just always be talking like, "Yo, man," and then and I just had to just calm it down and then come into my own and be a lady. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's that he helped me with that. He just like, "Just calm it down, just
Uh-huh.
talk to me. Just talk to me." So yeah.
So you were receptive though, because I think a lot of women hearing this are gonna relate, right? Because we
I
hear
was
all the time, right? That, "Oh, I didn't grow up, I didn't see this." Although, I'm sure your grandmother's example was always kind of there, right? Like, you saw
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you were receptive to him saying, like, "Okay, chill, you don't have to be so animated." Like, did you feel offended, or how did you feel when he first started giving you that
Well,
feedback?
no, he it wasn't offensive.
Uh-huh.
He came at me, which I love, ladies, and just so, if they do come to you wrong, just ask me, "You need to do like the lady said." And then, let me ask you a question. He said, "When you do that, who where do you mirror yourself to who you're talking to? He just said,
Mhm.
"I just wanna know." He said it like that. And I was like, "Oh," because I did always remember myself talking to a bunch of men and my uncles and my cousins, like we were hard, I
Uh-huh.
imagined that. But as I got older, he's like, "Babe," he's like, you can just talk to me, just relax a little bit. I'm
Mhm.
here to
Mhm.
listen. I promise you, I'm listening to everything." And he just said that. He's like, "Who do you mirror yourself talking to when you're talking like that?"
That's
Right?
powerful.
Yep. That's what he said.
Yeah. So, okay, what did becoming Muslim do as far as your viewpoint of you as a wife, as a woman? In Islam, there's adab. We have a way of like that you're certain kind of protocol for how to even interact. But was that something over time that you just integrated?
Yeah, it was. As I said before, when I was talking to a bunch of men, cousins, and
Mhm.
things of that nature. So the transformation to, becoming Muslim is like, I can't talk to yeah, I can't talk to me like that.
There's gender segregation?
And so it was a transformation for me. It was slow, but I did have my first husband, who's
Mhm.
also Muslim, help me with that.
Mhm.
And then, of course, not my husband now, right? And just so ladies, just want to put that out here right quick. I just always like to claim this no more. I did not become Muslim because of a man. Just want to say that
And
right
it's
now.
sad that you have to say that because people make all these assumptions, but so it's on the record,
On the
right?
record,
Mhm.
right? It was my decision by
Mhm.
myself. So when I did marry my first husband, he was like, "Why are you, whatever?" Just so, but and he passed away, so I remarried.
Mhm.
I'm married to right
Alhamdulillah.
now for
Uh-huh.
17 years, love him to death.
Mhm.
And he even helped me with that. He even helped me to the point where, do you know that when I was reading about women in Islam, that you had to walk behind your man so many
Mm.
steps. He's like, "Get over here. How am I going to talk to you if you back
If
here?"
you're uh-huh, uh-huh.
Even to the point where I didn't know, how I thought you could not give public affection in the public, like, display,
Mhm.
right? And he said, "Who told you that?" So it was a transformation for me from what I used to do and doing it now. And I can honestly say, I'm comfortable in who I am and how I am. I still do talk to men
Mhm.
because that's my business.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
just talk to women when I'm selling my products. Also talk to men to the point where I have this one particular soap that I sell that's for men. They won't be able to get it here in the States because I get the oil from overseas.
Oh.
And when they smell it, they're like, "Oh my God." And they just end up, but I have to introduce it to them. So I'm talking to men. And my husband is like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
know that."
Uh-huh.
But it was a little transformation here and there, but I learned gradually the do's and the don'ts and what have you, and then also what we call boundaries, right?
Mhm.
As
Mhm.
society is moving forward, right? And you have to interact with people. It kind of came natural for me.
Yeah, yeah. So that combination of, understanding the differences in, like, who you're communicating with, how you're
Mhm.
communicating with them, yeah, that's powerful. So, okay, so he helped you it was a process of softening up not just your feet, but, like, the whole thing, the communication and everything.
Everything, my
Uh-huh,
language, um, all of that. He was just like, I'm here for you. And we worked through it. I mean, the beginning of our marriage, we were still testing each other out. We were just
uh-huh, uh-huh.
finding each other out. And it was some things that, he did. I'm like, "What are you doing? What is this?" He taught me. And he would say the same thing, "Hey, um, I can't say this about one thing I did love about him, even in the beginning of our relationship. He said, "Why don't you go and get your feet done? Why don't you go XYZ? Why don't you da 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 da?" I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Uh-huh.
So he helped me in that. He helped me get there.
Were you having the mindset of, like 'Cause I hear women saying that, like, "Well, I could just do it myself, like, I could go and paint my nails or soak my feet." Was it a sense of, like, why I don't wanna waste money or waste time or waste I could
For
just do it
sure.
myself?
Man, to this day, even still, I'd be like, "I ain't spending that money on that. I can that's $40. I can."
Uh-huh.
But see, when I say that 20, 25, $40 or whatever I should be spending on myself, I'm thinking spending it on my business. Like,
Mhm.
when I say that, a fragrance that I wanna buy in tennis or something of that nature. I'm not just not spending it. I am spending it, but I'm spending it on something else that I think is valuable. Not to
Mhm.
say I don't myself is and my self-care is. That's just my way of thinking. Now, my number one place to go to here in Atlanta is Treat Your Feet.
Ooh,
Look
so
up
what is that? Tell us about that. I'm not in Atlanta, but what is that like?
right, so Treat Your Feet is where you can go, spend about $45, and they will really massage your feet, your calves, I
Mm.
mean, really do it. You sit down in these chairs so they massage your feet, your calves, and even to the point where when they're finished with that, you soak your feet. And when you're finished with that, they massage your shoulders, they crack your
Mm.
back. And it's for $45. So of course, or $50. I think it's
Mm.
$50 now. I'm gonna give a tip because I'm just like, and it's for
Yes.
about 40 minutes. It's about 40 minutes of just 40,
Pouring
45
into
minutes.
you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Super care. Yeah, yeah. So you okay, so I wanna pause for a minute because I think just for people to soak in this whole thing of, like, it's not either or, that's what I'm hearing from you. You can pour into your spouse, you know, but you can also prioritize yourself. Because when I talk about prioritizing yourself, and then I hear some people repeat back what they think I'm saying, it's like a selfish thing, like screw everybody else. And it's like, no, when I prioritize myself, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better friend. So it's we can walk and chew gum. We can like do for ourselves, but you can still rub your husband's back and attend to him. Like, it doesn't mean you have to shut all of that off.
That's correct. That I mean, you
Yeah.
hit it. You can do both. Like you said, we can walk and chew gum at the same
Mhm.
time. Well, you can take care of yourself. You can take care of your family. And you can take care of your spouse or your partner, whoever. You can do those things. We always like to throw out these terms, time management. Time
Mm.
management is part of a relationship too, right? I like to look at a relationship as a partnership, like you getting into business with someone, right? Oh, as the women, we know our roles. We may be the person to take care of inventory, janitorial. We wear a lot of hats.
Mhm.
But then also the man's role is he may be financing or he may be my finance guy, my this guy, my whatever, my advocator with XYZ. So marriage in itself is like a partnership. You signed a contract with a partner and y'all are into business together. We don't
See, I don't know if people get that. Is it a change in the times, almost like you were saying with this whole boss girl and that it when people hear that, it it might sound impersonal. Well, where's the love if this is a business partnership?
well, it may sound that
Mhm.
way, but I tell you what, let's do this then. If it sounds impersonal, write down your role and his role side by side. Then let's go look at a business, how a business is run, who does what. It's not impersonal.
Mhm.
It's it
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Look at it. You do XYZ, right? You're the Uber driver. You or he may be the Uber driver one day,
Mhm,
whatever. Everybody has a role, right? And I think that's what me and my husband, that's what we looked at.
mhm.
We looked at it that way. We even had a discussion.
Mm,
All right, okay. Well, I'm good at this and you're good at this. Okay, I got it. You good at this, so you handle that. Boom, I got it. It's a partnership. Like right now, we this social media thing, right?
oh, yeah. How
Right.
is that? Uh-huh.
He's like, okay, you know Instagram and
Mhm.
TikTok. Gotcha. He knows Facebook and YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's this is our business. He
complementing each other.
this I'm the social media for that. That's our
Mhm.
contract. So this is what we do. We don't step boundaries or whatever. You have a
Yeah,
CEO, you have the finance guy, and you have all of these roles, and everybody plays a role. It's not impersonal, it's about facts.
yeah.
Anybody who's married, who's entrepreneur, what have you, everybody has a role. It's
Mhm.
nothing impersonal. It's just that you know where you are, what you're doing. But at the end of the day, when you shut everything down, you look at each other. He's like, "We did that." You feel good
There's a
about yourself.
sense of connection, right?
Yeah, it says, "We did that," and then you look at each other to say, "Oh, we good for each other."
Mm. How so there's satisfaction because I know we're kinda and I'm gonna bring it back to the self-care, but, I hear so many younger women and men talking about like, well, marriage isn't the goal. Why, kind of downplaying it and things like that.
Mhm.
And there's so many intangible things that you like a sense of fulfillment, like you said, at the end of the night, you all have been able to manage this, manage that, communicate, go through ups and downs, and you can really look at another person and say, we did that, like we. And I don't know any other like,
Mm,
not to say you can't get that with anything else, but, like, marriage is a powerful tool for that kind of thing.
yeah, it is. It is, and then you have to think of it as a tool.
Mhm.
That's a powerful tool. Communication is a powerful tool.
Mhm. Mm.
And that's a big plays a big part in that as well. What are you communicating? What are you saying to each other? Um, with each other's role, and at the end of the day, right? So yeah, it's definitely a powerful tool, and you just have
Yeah.
to be prepared to use it. Get the toolbox out and get your tools together. If you're building
Yes,
that house,
yes.
you're building that relationship with that house. Y'all both have tools. You might have to borrow some tools,
Mm.
but let's
Mhm.
do it. Let's do this, and have that attitude. Let's do this. You know?
Like that kind of it's almost of the way it's like a bravado, like, "Yeah, we're of course, like,
Mm,
don't get it twisted, we're gonna do this."
yeah, we're gonna do this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So what alright, tell me what you think about we were talking about writing things down.
Mhm.
So, in your experience and just conversing with men and women, like, what is the importance of writing down self care or what you want to do, or like your whole self care plan?
Um, I would start with let's let's take some people have to take baby steps,
Hmm.
right? Don't overexert yourself. It's like, "Ah, I'm gonna write this down. I gotta do this." Let's take baby steps. Let's look at the time that you may have. If you have, and I said, if you got 15 minutes, what are you doing in those 15 minutes for you? Write that
Hmm.
down. Say, I'm gonna take 15 minutes, right, to write in a journal for me. I'm gonna take 15 minutes. I'm gonna run and go get me this tub that the sister was talking about, salsa, some herbal stuff or whatever, and sit there and do that. I'm gonna take 15 minutes to do that, right? If you can take 15 minutes and scroll through Instagram and
Mm,
TikTok, suck your feet while you're doing it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, then we write that down. Let's write down, okay, I did that. Now let's bump it up to 30 minutes. Let's see if I can get to 30 minutes
Mm,
of being quiet, lighting a candle, and just being quiet. Where can I put my children for 15 minutes to do XYZ? Get everybody situated so you can do that and write it down. Write a goal down. Okay, on Wednesday, the kids are XYZ. Husband's over there. Fridays, this. Ooh, that's a great time. I think what's important is when you write it down, have a tangible, realistic goal. It doesn't have to be a whole half an hour, an hour. Take those baby steps and write
Yeah,
that down when you can, and how important it is to you. Write it down.
yeah. That is so because you're not saying, I think when people sometimes hear things, it's like, well, why can't I scroll or whatever? But I love what you said that like, you don't have to go cold turkey. You could just put your feet in the Epsom salt while you sit there and scroll.
Getting ideas. When you're getting ideas for your brand or whatever, you're in
Mhm.
someone in your same niche as you, and you're trying to get ideas and collab or whatever. Um, and because that can be stressful, right?
Yeah.
So doing it because I do it.
Mhm.
I'm learning to do it. I've done it for the last 3 days. I'm just being still. I'm scrolling, but
Uh-huh.
I'm still, I guess because I make the product, but I'm sitting still.
You're like, "Let me use my product."
And I'm sitting still, my feet are in there, or I'm lighting a candle and just
Mhm.
I'm smelling that. It's bringing something to me, right? But I'm relaxing in that. It's just base.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have some questions that I like to ask every guest about their journey. And you
Okay.
being an entrepreneur, um, what's been the hardest part? I like to start with the hard stuff first. Like the most challenging or difficult parts of being an entrepreneur, building your brand, doing everything for your business as a woman.
A couple of them. Um, I think one of the biggest challenges was for me was finding out and knowing that, and it took some time,
Mhm.
that my family and my friends are not my right.
Say it again, all right? Because I think yeah, tell
I
it to
do
the
for my
people.
family friends.
Uh-huh.
That was a challenge for me because even coworkers, I was
Mhm.
making products and I'm just giving it, test this out and things of that nature. And and when I did give out testers and things, no one bought them. No one said, "Ooh, where can I find this at?" or whatever. When I'm just like, I'm making this for them.
Mhm.
I'm making this for someone who um they understand what natural products are. They
Mhm.
understand what natural ingredients are, and they want something better for their skin. Not my cousin, not his people or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
That was I realized that was
yeah,
my big
yeah.
challenge, trying to get them to buy.
What made you make that shift? Like, how did you recognize, "Wait a minute, I'm focusing on the wrong people?"
What made when I was giving out a lot of samples and I was spending a lot of money giving out
Uh-huh.
samples, there's no residual. There was nothing coming back. That's when I
Yeah.
was like, I'm losing product, but I ain't got no money. I don't have any money.
Mhm, mhm. My the product is going down and the bank account is going down because
Yeah,
yeah.
Boca went down. Nothing's growing.
Mhm. Yeah. Did you? Because I hear and sometimes I, struggle with this myself, like, do your friends and family follow you online? Do they even know about you online, or have you had to kinda, like if they
Um,
find you, fine, but you're not letting them know that you're online?
my I'm gonna tell you a story. So my families and friends, even people I went to school with,
Mhm.
they know about me.
Okay.
Fine for me, no. Um, a quick story. So on my site, I did this 50% off, whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was someone that I knew from a long time ago, long time, and we saw each other. And then as they're DMing me, right? They're in there, oh, this is beautiful. I want this. Do you have this? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then I say, hey, XYZ, this is so and so. We went to this place together. La la la.
Uh-huh. Crickets. Are you serious? I suspected things like that, but, like, I never, had the full out evidence.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Crickets. So I'm challenging myself now. I can't say this as
Yes.
an entrepreneur. I am challenging myself. I didn't used to put my face on nothing of my brand because of that.
Mhm.
But I'm like, you know what? No. So I start showing up. I start
Yes.
I start showing up. I start this is the brand behind XYZ.
Mhm.
Before I didn't do it. Like I was like, no, because if they see me, they're gonna be like, they're not
Oh,
gonna
that's
but they
hard. It's really haters out there, like, I
yeah,
mean, we have
yeah.
to be
But
honest, yeah.
but I have now, I can honestly say, I do have some customers who literally there's 2 products that I have that are my number 1 seller, and I
Mhm.
can't keep I love that. And I haven't posted in months because of some life is lifing,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm doing wholesale now.
So
So
people can buy and then they can sell your products. Oh,
right,
see, we have to
so I'm
talk
paying
about
for
that,
wholesale, so
yes.
I'm really excited about that. I'm at 2 local pharmacies right now. My
Mhm.
product in 2 local pharmacies right now, and I'm trying to branch out to, just little small little places right now, but I'm getting there, you know, so
What are the
yeah.
2 products? Because you know we're gonna have you, like, give all your info, so and
Yeah.
I'm about to be a customer, but what are the 2 products that are, like,
So
so
my number 1 soap that
Mhm.
sells is my oatmeal and honey,
Mhm.
soap. I can't keep it in, even with my wholesaler. It's like I'm constantly making it, and I'm excited about that. So my oatmeal honey and my turmeric soap, those are the 2 number 1 soaps. And then, although I make those products, I also make candles. I started making
Ooh.
I started making candles for us, but there's my number 1 seller candle. It's called cocoa butter cashmere. Oh my god, it
Mm,
smells really it's really nice. It's just so calming and nice. So cocoa butter cashmere is, my number 1 candle, and it
okay.
sells like crazy. Yeah, those are my 2 number 1 sellers right now.
What's the website right now because we're in the
Oh,
moment?
sure, sure. It is N, the letter N, style, skin.net.
Oh, that's easy. In style, so in the letter N, style, skin.net, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have all the in the show notes is gonna have the link to that. I'm gonna be the first one as soon as we finish this to put my order in. But recognizing that, okay, your friends, your family, your community people you know, and I heard this saying before, like, you can't how does it go? You can't be the king, the chief of your own village. Like, it's almost like you have to go somewhere you get more respect
Mhm.
outside,
Yeah.
sadly,
Yeah.
right? When you're too familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
there's another saying, you're never a rock star in your own backyard.
Ooh, that's it, yes, yes. So, therefore, crickets when it was you're thinking, like, that's gonna create more connection or just, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, guess what? It's
I
me."
thought I thought so. They needed a gift for their mom, and,
Mhm.
I have very reasonable prices, right? As a matter of fact, some people say, "Girl, you're not charging it," but it whatever. But yeah, they needed something for their mom, and I gave them some suggestions. I had them go on my site. They liked the prices, and then after I said what I said, it was crickets. I said, "Okay, it's okay."
Yeah. So, that was a good lesson because
Well,
the
well, I
people who yeah. It forced you to pivot and know exactly who to focus on.
right.
So, what do you think is your biggest sort of strength as a woman, as an entrepreneur? Like, what about you as a woman also makes your business flow and makes you good at what you do as an entrepreneur?
Um, I think, I've heard this before.
Mhm,
I think it's because when I'm talking to my audience or my clients or whoever, I talk to them where they are,
mhm,
right? And teaching, so I talk to them where they are. I don't use big words. I
mhm,
don't go beyond the scope of what they're looking at or what they're looking to buy or what they're interested in, right? So I stay right there. Like,
mhm,
they have issues, as you said, with sensitive skin. I have these dark spots and da, da, da. So I educate and I talk to them about the product itself and the ingredients that are in there. So I think that's one of my strengths because I want I want to help. I want them to
mhm,
get better. I want to
mhm.
see your skin clear up. I want you not to have dry skin. I want you to exfoliate properly, right? Like, everybody's on this turmeric kick, like using it
Mm. Oh,
to
yeah, the
whatever. I'm like,
masks,
stop. Everybody can't use it, right?
it's
So I
too
try to
harsh for
educate.
some people.
Yeah, it's hard for some people. Like myself, I can't use turmeric every day because I start peeling because that's what
Mm,
it does. It detoxes, it pulls, right? And then I have kojic acid in my turmeric. I have one without, one with, right? And
okay.
I educate them right away. Before you buy my product, I'm going to let you know what's in there. And I'm going to educate you on what's in there. You can't do a kojic acid and then another acid, depending on your skin, because it's
Mhm.
going to peel, it's going to lighten, and you're going to be like, what? So I put that disclaimer out there. Do a test, number one, but I'm letting you know what ingredients are in there
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
not to use with quote unquote what you're buying of mine or what it's going to do for
That is
you.
so good, yeah. That is such a good because you see I mean, anytime I open TikTok, I see people doing turmeric masks, and they make it like a one size fits all. So, that's really good. You meet people and teach them for what it is that they need.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we do as women, right? Like, I feel like that's connection is such a part of femininity.
Yeah.
So we know you get like you're tuned in. But from what I'm hearing, what you're saying, even about self care, you first have to be tuned into yourself and have the energy to even want to do that versus
Mhm.
just quickly,
Yeah.
talking to somebody and not caring.
Right. Absolutely. A lady came by my booth one day and I had tried to share a sugar scrub and she's like, I don't know what to do with that. So I love share what to do with a sugar scrub. And then she said, well,
Mhm.
I have two boys. I don't have time. And I said, well, when you use the body scrub, right, it takes maybe 3 minutes to
Mhm.
scoop it out or to use the scooper, put it on your skin, right? Where whatever target area you want and rinse it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, she was thinking, I don't have time to do a scrub like the extra step to
Mhm.
exfoliate.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just trying to educate women, 3 minutes tops, maybe. I don't know,
Yeah.
depending on, what areas you're targeting, right? And, yeah, we don't and her excuse was she has 2 boys. Like, what the boys got to do with you?
Yeah.
But but,
Like the boys
well,
are just sucking up yeah. It feels overwhelming, right? But it sounds like you were able to not, make her feel bad or ashamed, but to just educate.
educate. I said
Mhm.
3 minutes, you take it, you put it most women like to do the arms or whatever, right? Because back here, it can get
Mhm.
a little rough. So it depends because, we don't moisture back there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I really, do that, rinse it off, head dry, you out. 3 minutes.
Make it
Yeah,
practical.
yeah,
Alright, ladies, you hear that. Listeners, please, when you go to the site, know that anything that you get right, you can fit it into your routine. It's not gonna throw off your whole schedule. It'll take a few minutes.
right.
Mhm.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. You say you have a daughter, right? You have a son and a daughter? What
Yeah.
did you teach each of them? But I'm particularly interested in your daughter. I have 2 girls. What did you teach them about self-care? What did you want them to know as they grew up about self-care?
I have a daughter, I have 2 grandsons,
Oh, uh-huh.
right? So, my daughter, I taught her, we started with feet. It is just
Mhm.
we just did, right? Because we're always on her and she's a, hair designer. We like to say hair
Mhm.
designer, like a dresser, because she ain't dressing nothing, I don't
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yes.
So she's on her feet a lot,
Mhm.
right? And "Mom, my feet," whatever. I was like, "Babe, do this." So she would, soak her feet, but also she would use the sugar scrub on her feet as well, right? We talked about that. So
Mhm.
we talk about that. We talk about it all the time. And she's like, "Mom, I found this product, whatever, whatever." And I give her the side eye because it's not my product, but it is what it is. So coming back to mine. But I taught her, let's start there with your feet because of what she does,
Mhm.
right? And she does that, and she understands she does we don't lose lotion at all in this family. So
Mm.
they started with the whipped body butters and things of that nature, but she learned even to the day she took it from her mom. They'll get it we have this one bucket, it's huge, not huge, it's nice size,
Yeah.
and she'll eat in there and, um, she's just she's binge watching on Netflix, and I taught
Yeah.
her that. If you're sitting there binge watching something, you
At
sit up
least do
there,
something for you.
at least do something for you. So that's what
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Just the small little things, and, she started with that, and then even now, my granddaughter, she's 10. She absolutely well, she has to have the oatmeal and honey soap because she has eczema. So she knows that's her soap. She's like, Jetta, I need some more soap. Gotcha. But she's also, I have to really hide my sugar scrubs from them, because they love the sugar scrubs too. They know.
Yeah, they know from the grandbabies know.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to my inventory, just, like shopping.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, now
So I
put us on to so you said you don't use lotion, you only tell me about that. You only use whipped shea butter.
right. Because this is how I like to say it. and this is my selling point.
Mhm.
Get get you some lotion and look at the ingredients. You probably won't be able to pronounce them. So
Uh-huh.
we'll say this is me. When you are looking at your lotions, or whatever, it's like you do it's like a spelling bee. When you go look at my ingredients,
Uh-huh.
it's not a spelling bee.
Okay.
Look at it and you
It's just the everything you could easily pronounce and say.
pronounce it and you're familiar with. Oh, cocoa butter. Yeah. Mango butter. Oh, shea butter. Oh, you know, this is it. That's it. Vitamin
Mhm.
E. Oh, you know, those, those things that you can just, it's like two syllables, two or three
Yes.
syllables,
One, 2,
not like
3.
break it down. No. So no, we don't, we stopped using, my whole family stopped using lotions a long, long time ago because it was just, their skin was just drinking it and it would
Yeah.
constantly stay. So it was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how I like to sell my products. I say, read my ingredient. And they look in, they go, oh, and I even have lotion. I go, read those,
Mm.
you know,
Just put it
and I
side by side.
put it side by side because then now you got to Google. Now you got to Google what that is,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you don't have to Google mine. So,
Well, you sold me right there. So, it's gonna be Epsom salt soaks.
yep.
And I did a 60-day bath challenge, hot bath, like in the especially as it got colder, because I was reading about how just baths, like I love saunas and steam rooms and all of that. So I was putting the Epsom salt in there and just like doing, even if it's just a 5 or 10 minute soak,
Mhm.
and then,
Yes.
showering. But I am going to do that. So, ladies, my listeners, we are going to be soaking our feet in Epsom salt.
Yes.
We are going to InStyleSkin.net and getting our different products, but we're getting stuff that has things we can pronounce versus a whole list of chemicals that we have to Google and see what it even means.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes,
And
yes.
as a matter of fact, after we're finished here,
Mhm.
whatever, I'll send you a promo code because I was putting one together because I'm working with Summer. I forgot. It's the artist. Her name is Summer something, whatever.
Hmm.
And for this big
After
promotion, and
Okay.
they chose my site and
Oh,
my
that's
product.
awesome.
Summer, yeah. So I'm working on
Okay.
that promo code. So I just pass it on to your listeners as
Oh,
well.
yeah, so they get a certain alright. So we'll put that in the show notes and people can get a discount. That's I was gonna ask you about that, so that's really,
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Alright. So any final thoughts? I have really enjoyed talking to you.
Oh,
Anytime I'm, like, just talking to a woman that understands, like, to me, when I hear "know your worth," it has nothing to do with designer bags and material whatever a dollar amount, it has to do with how we treat
mhm,
ourselves. And, like,
right.
I think it just shines through that
Yeah.
you understand what it takes. So any last words? What do you want people to understand about this?
Well, I just want to just emphasize on when we talk about self-care, you have to look at the first word,
Mm,
right? Self, right? And narrow down and to target that. Just you, right? Not everybody else. We are
mhm.
nurturers. It's just what we do. We're used to doing that. But just tune in to self first. Give yourself some grace and picking and choosing your time when you're doing that. Give yourself some grace if you don't do it within 3 days, 4 days, a week, or 2 weeks. Give yourself some grace, but still have it written down somewhere where you are going to, take care of yourself, because I think it's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. And then one last thing. It's not in reference to self care or anything like that. I do want to thank everybody who, I guess it was the hotspot. They,
Oh, yes. Oh, we didn't even get into yes. Tell 'em
um, I
you
want
have
to
to
thank
tell the people about
everyone
that.
who,
Uh-huh.
commented on me doing what I did for my husband, which
Mhm,
came naturally. It just did, and just basically, understanding where I came from and
mhm.
how I got there. It's sometimes with relationships, it can be the small things, right? But then we have to find a way to adjust and help our partners in that, but I just want to thank everybody who really just came and was like, oh, wow, she's this, that, and the other, and gave me that praise. I'm very humble and thank you for that. Um,
Yes, yes.
and I'm hoping that you guys everyone will see more of me and me sharing. What we're going through, what I'm going through, and how we're getting past it, and whatever jams that I may have.
Mhm.
I'm just thankful for everyone's support and things of that nature. And thanks to big ups to Dave Sheehan for even putting
Yes.
it out. Um,
Genius.
yes. I'm just really, really happy that he humbles that he did that. He didn't have to do that. And
Yes.
he came out and hit me up and it does some great things. I'm really excited about. And, just thank you.
I'm so glad you brought that up, and for those who may not have seen it, so I saw Sumaya and her husband at the podcast summit. We, got to just chat a little bit, and there was a moment at the summit, so it's a big room, conference room, and she and her husband were sitting in a section and stood up and eventually asked David Shands, the host, if they could move up closer to VIP. And it had a whole lot to it, but you were asked like what annoys you about your husband, and there was a whole exchange. And they became like a viral moment, Samaya and her husband, on first of all, a woman supporting her man. And you know what's funny? The day that that happened, I went and wrote a post about it. I said, "This is feminine energy." I said, "A woman got up with her husband, supported him, and through her gift of feminine communication, got them moved from general, what is it, general admission to VIP
Yeah,
just
yeah,
on the strength of how she communicated as a woman."
yeah. Thank you
Eh,
for that. I didn't know that. Thank you.
yeah, it was so powerful, but now to see you all as this viral clip on, like, sort of the ways that little things can annoy us as
Yeah,
spouses, but how you 100% support your husband. You're not gonna throw him on the butt under the bus, and actually, you're gonna advocate to where he gets more than what he even stood up to ask for in the first place. Like, it was so powerful.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So we'll have to put a link to that clip. And you know what's funny is people who weren't there, I saw some of the comments because that clip has been passed around in
Yeah.
different groups, Muslim marriage group and everything. And people were like, that guy is a jerk. And I'm like, they don't even know David Shands. They're like, look at him with his little critical comments." It's
Yeah,
hilarious to see, the
yeah.
reactions all around.
He was in hot seat mode, and I got that, and that's why I even
Mhm.
said in my comments, I say, "Hey, everyone, he was in hot seat mode because that's where he was." And sometimes, when you're focused and you're there, you're honing in on that, and it
Yeah.
just he going with it, right? And I was just again, I was just there to just say what I had to say. And the number one thing that is and I have to say this a lot, and it's sad that I do have to say
Mm.
this, is because people don't see him, and he's the one blind. Like, we'll go
Mm.
play, and he'll have that stick, and I'm just like, "Excuse me?" But, and I had to advocate for him because people don't see it, right? And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
that's my boat.
Oh, there's so much that we didn't get into, and I'll have to have you back, and hopefully you and your husband Hassan, because that right there is powerful. Like, life is going to life, and just different our roles might change in our marriage,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to take on a role to protect now he needs your protection. It's a
Yeah.
different type of protection, but you're
Yeah.
definitely stepping up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. And again, everybody, we are going to have the link to InStyleSkin.net. And don't forget, everybody, if you need support on your journey for your femininity, healthy relationships, just how to be in tune with yourself, my community is the Boundaries to Bliss Society. You can find out more about it. We have live coaching calls, a whole library of videos and courses for you, and of course, a community of supportive women. You'll see the link to find out more about it in the show notes. and we will see you in the next episode. Until next time, stay in tune with yourself, stay connected to yourself, and stay feminine. Take care. I'm Dr. Nicole.